Once upon a time, nestled deep within the verdant landscapes of Africa, lay the village of Duru. This village was a place where the natural world and the mystical coexisted in harmony, where the songs of birds mingled with the whispers of ancient spirits. In Duru, humans and creatures of the forest live side by side, respecting the delicate balance that sustained their world. Among the villagers was a young woman named Obiora, whose beauty was said to be as radiant as the first light of dawn. Obiora was not just beautiful in the conventional sense, her beauty transcended the physical, emanating from her calm and gentle spirit. Her presence brought a sense of peace to those around her, and she was beloved by all who knew her. The men of the village were particularly captivated by Obiora. They admired not only her outer beauty but also her kind and serene nature. Many would approach her with offers of marriage, their voices filled with admiration and hope. Obiora, they would say, you are the most beautiful and gracious woman in all of Duru. Will you marry me? But Obiora, with a gentle smile and a voice as soft as the wind through the trees, would always reply, thank you for your kind words, but I am not yet ready. Her responses were never harsh or dismissive. Instead, they were filled with a quiet wisdom that only deepened the villagers' respect for her. Every day, as the sun rose and painted the sky in hues of gold and pink, Obiora would make her way to the bustling market of Duru. The market was the heart of the village, alive with the vibrant colors of fresh fruits and vegetables, the scents of spices, and the sounds of merchants calling out their wares. Obiora's stall was always the most popular, for her produce was unmatched in quality. The fruits she sold were plump and juicy, and the vegetables were as fresh as the morning. For more captivating African tales and legendary stories, subscribe to Cheese African Tales. Join our growing community and never miss an enchanting tale from Africa's rich storytelling tradition. Onindu. Villagers would come from far and wide to buy from her, drawn not only by the quality of her goods but also by the warmth of her presence. Yet, despite her daily presence in the market, Obiora remained a mystery. No one knew where she lived, for she always arrived early, before the first rays of sunlight touched the earth, and left before dusk, slipping away like a shadow before the night could claim her. The villagers often whispered among themselves, where does Obiora go when she leaves the market? Where does she live? But their questions remained unanswered, as Obiora kept her private life hidden behind a veil of secrecy. One day, under the clear blue sky of Duru, a stranger arrived in the village. He was a handsome man named Emma, who had traveled from a distant land in search of the finest fruits and vegetables. As he wandered through the market, his eyes fell upon Obiora, and he was instantly captivated. Her beauty was unlike anything he had ever seen, and he felt an inexplicable pull towards her. Who is this enchanting woman? Emma wondered, his heart beating faster as he watched her. Gathering his courage, Emma approached Obiora's stall. Hello, he said, his voice a mix of nervousness and excitement. My name is Emma. May I ask your name? Obiora looked up from her stall and met his gaze with a soft smile that seemed to light up the world around her. I am Obiora, she replied. How can I assist you today? Emma was mesmerized by her gentle demeanor and the kindness in her eyes. He bought some fruits, but it was clear to both of them that his interest extended far beyond mere produce. They began to talk, their conversation flowing effortlessly. They spoke of the weather, of the village, and of the many wonders of the market. Emma was enchanted by Obiora's voice, a voice that seemed to carry the melodies of ancient songs and the wisdom of forgotten tales. Day after day, Emma returned to the market, not for the fruits and vegetables, but for the chance to see Obiora. Each day, their bond grew stronger, and Emma found himself falling deeply in love with her. Obiora, too, began to look forward to Emma's visits, finding joy in their conversations and a connection that she had never experienced before. However, as the sun began to set on their growing friendship, a shadow loomed over them. One evening, as the market was closing and the sky was painted in shades of deep purple and gold, Emma realized how late it had become. Concerned for Obiora's safety, he offered, "Let me walk you home, Obiora. It is not safe for you to be alone in the dark." Obiora hesitated, her eyes reflecting a moment of uncertainty. But Emma's concern was genuine, and his insistence unwavering. Finally, she agreed, and together they began their journey, the path ahead illuminated only by the pale light of the moon. As they walked, the air grew colder, and the night became eerily silent. The only sound was the rustling of leaves in the breeze, and the soft crunch of their footsteps on the earth. Suddenly, Emma felt a chill run down his spine, a cold hand seemed to brush against his back, sending a wave of fear through him. He turned quickly, his heart racing, but there was no one there. The darkness seemed to close in around him, and a sense of dread began to take hold. For more captivating African tales and legendary stories, subscribe to Cheese African Tales. Join our growing community and never miss an enchanting tale from Africa's rich storytelling tradition. He looked at Obiora, who continued to walk ahead, her step steady and her expression calm. "Obiora," Emma said, his voice trembling, "I think I should go back. It's getting too dark, and something doesn't feel right." Obiora turned to him, her eyes soft yet filled with an unspoken understanding. "If you are frightened, Emma, you may return to the village," she said, her voice gentle yet firm. Emma, unable to shake the fear that gripped him, nodded and hurried back to the village. He ran as fast as his legs could carry him, the memory of that cold touch haunting him with every step. From that day on, Emma never returned to the market to see Obiora. The villagers noticed his absence and whispered among themselves, but no one knew the truth of what had happened that night. Obiora, though saddened by Emma's sudden departure, continued her life in Duru. She maintained her gentle demeanor, helping those in need and bringing joy to those around her. Yet, the mystery of her life remained a secret that few would ever uncover. For Obiora was not just an ordinary girl from the village. She was born in the depth of the ancient, magical forest that lay beyond Duru. In that forest, she lived with her family, beings who were not human but possessed the ability to take on many forms. Among them, Obiora was unique, for she could appear human at all times, a gift that set her apart from her kin. Her family loved her dearly, but they were wary of the human world. They had warned her many times, "Obiora, you must not marry a human. Our worlds are too different, and the consequences could be dire." When Emma began to visit Obiora, her family grew concerned. They feared that she might fall in love with him, and so they devised a plan to protect her. The cold hand that Emma felt on that fateful night was not a mere coincidence, it was the work of her family, a trick to scare him away and keep Obiora safe. Obiora, however, felt conflicted. She had grown fond of Emma and longed to experience the world beyond the confines of her family's rules. She wanted to live freely, to make her own choices, and to forge her own path. And so, with a heavy heart, Obiora made a decision that would change her life forever. One day, she ventured deep into the forest, where the ancient trees whispered secrets only they could know. She approached her family and said, "I love you all, but I can no longer live under your protection. I want to make my own choices and live among the humans." Her parents, though heartbroken, understood her desire for freedom. "Be careful, Obiora," they warned her. "The world outside can be harsh and unforgiving." With their blessing, Obiora left the forest and moved to Duru village for good. She hoped to find happiness, love, and a sense of belonging among the humans. Yet, she knew that her journey would not be easy, and that the shadows of her past would continue to follow her. To ensure that she would not be drawn back into her family's world, Obiora decided to visit the shrine of Abri, a powerful spirit known for helping those who sought a new path in life. The shrine was nestled deep within the forest, a place where the veil between worlds was thin. Obiora knelt before Abri's altar, her voice steady but filled with determination. "Great Abri, I wish to sever all ties with my family. I seek the freedom to live my life in Duru village, away from their influence. Abri appeared before her, a soft glow illuminating the shrine. The spirit listened to Obiora's plea and nodded. I understand your wish, Obiora. I will grant you the freedom you seek, but know this, your family will not be pleased. They may try to bring you back through means you cannot foresee. Obiora, with courage in her heart, nodded in agreement. I understand, but I still wish to go through with it. With a wave of Abri's hand, the bond between Obiora and her family was severed. The connection that had once tied her to the magical world was no more. But true to Abri's warning, when her family realized what had happened, they were overcome with anger and sorrow. Obiora's mother, in her grief, laid a curse upon her daughter. May you never find happiness with a human, she whispered to the winds. May they always leave you in despair. Despite the curse, Obiora remained in Duru. She continued her life in the village, selling her goods in the market and interacting with the people. She hoped to find love and a sense of belonging, even though the shadow of the curse hung over her like a dark cloud. But Obiora was determined. She kept her kind and gentle nature, believing that one day she would meet someone who could see beyond the curse and love her for who she truly was. One day, a well-known merchant named Kalo arrived in Duru village. Kalo was a man of many talents, traveling from village to village, selling fine cloth and beautiful garments. His charm and friendliness had won him many admirers, and when he saw Obiora at the market, he was instantly captivated by her beauty and grace. Who is this lovely girl? Kalo wondered, his heart skipping a beat. He approached her stall with a wide smile. Hello, I'm Kalo. I travel far and wide, selling the finest cloth. You must be Obiora, the girl everyone speaks of. Obiora smiled back, her eyes twinkling with warmth. Yes, that's me. It's a pleasure to meet you, Kalo. From that moment on, Kalo visited the market frequently, always finding an excuse to stop by Obiora's store. They talked and laughed, their conversations filled with light and joy. Kalo found himself falling deeply in love with her, not just for her beauty, but for the kindness and strength that radiated from within her. For more captivating African tales and legendary stories, subscribe to Cheese African Tales. Join our growing community and never miss an enchanting tale from Africa's rich storytelling tradition. Kolu decided that he wanted to marry Obiora. With excitement in his heart, he approached her one day and said, Obiora, I like you very much. Will you marry me and come live with my family? Obiora, who had always been cautious about love due to her painful past experiences, felt a spark of hope at Kolu's words. Despite her fears, she agreed to meet Kolu's family. Kolu, filled with joy at her acceptance, eagerly took her to his village to introduce her to his parents. When they arrived at Kolu's home, his mother greeted them, but her smile quickly faded as she observed Obiora closely. She had heard whispers about Obiora's mysterious past and the strange events that seemed to surround her. As Kolu's mother looked at Obiora, a frown crept onto her face. This girl, she thought to herself, she is beautiful, but there is something off about her. After speaking with Obiora for a while, Kolu's mother could not shake the uneasy feeling that had settled in her heart. Finally, she turned to her son and said firmly, Kolu, I'm sorry, but I don't trust this girl. There's a curse around her. She is not suitable for our family. Kolu was shocked and deeply saddened by his mother's words. He had grown to care for Obiora deeply, but he had always respected his parents' wishes. With a heavy heart, he looked at Obiora and said, Obiora, I'm sorry, but my mother doesn't approve of our marriage. I must listen to my family. Obiora felt her heart break at Kolu's words. She had hoped that he would see past the curse that haunted her, but she understood his decision. With tears in her eyes, she nodded quietly and left Kolu's home, her heart heavy with sorrow. She returned to Duru village, once again feeling the weight of the curse upon her. Despite the pain in her heart, Obiora continued to live her life in Duru with quiet dignity. She held on to the hope that one day, she would find someone who could love her despite the curse. Even though her heart was hurting, Obiora remained strong. She continued her daily life, always kind and gentle, even when she felt the burden of the curse more than ever. The rejection from Kolu had deepened her despair, and she grew tired of being pushed away because of the curse. Desperate for a solution, Obiora decided to return to Abri's shrine, hoping that the powerful spirit could help her find peace and lift the curse that had haunted her for so long. Obiora walked to the shrine, her steps heavy with the weight of her troubles. When she arrived, she knelt before Abri's altar, her heart filled with desperation. "Great Abri," she pleaded, "the curse placed upon me is causing so much pain. Please help me lift it so I can find happiness and be free from this burden." As she finished her prayer, a soft glowing light filled the shrine, and Abri appeared before her. The spirit listened to Obiora's heartfelt plea and saw the sincerity and sorrow in her eyes. "Obiora," Abri said gently, "you have endured much because of this curse. I can lift it from you, but there is a condition. You must remain calm and never let anger take over your heart. If you become angry, the curse will return, and it will be even stronger." Obiora nodded eagerly, her eyes full of hope. "I promise, Abri. I will stay calm and keep my heart pure. Please, lift the curse," she vowed. With a wave of Abri's hand, a warm, gentle breeze surrounded Obiora. She felt a great weight lift off her shoulders as the curse was lifted. Obiora was filled with a new sense of freedom and hope. She thanked Abri with all her heart and returned to Duru village, determined to live a good life. Back in the village, Obiora continued her daily routine. She sold her goods at the market and greeted everyone with her usual kindness. The villagers admired her beauty and calm demeanor, unaware of the curse that had once weighed her down. To them, she was simply a gentle and serene woman who was always kind to others. Obiora felt lighter knowing the curse was gone, but she remained mindful of her promise to Abri. She kept her emotions in check and stayed calm in every situation, hoping that one day she would find someone who could love her for who she was, free from the shadows of her past. One warm afternoon, Obiora went to the village stream to fetch water. As she sat on a rock, thinking about her life and the challenges she had faced, she felt a deep sadness. She missed having someone to share her life with, someone who could love her despite everything she had been through. As she sat there lost in thought, a gentle voice called out, "Are you okay?" Startled, Obiora looked up and saw a kind-faced man standing by the water. He had a warm smile and gentle eyes. "My name is Chidubem," he said, walking closer. "You looked sad, and I wanted to make sure you're all right." Obiora felt a warmth from his kindness. "Thank you, Chidubem. I'm Obiora," she replied softly. They talked for a while, and Obiora found herself opening up to him. Chidubem listened with care, offering comfort and understanding without prying into her past. Over the days that followed, Chidubem and Obiora met often at the stream. They would talk and laugh, and Obiora felt a bond growing between them. Chidubem was kind and understanding, and he didn't push her to reveal more than she was comfortable with. He simply enjoyed her company and made her feel valued. One day, Chidubem said to Obiora, "I care about you, Obiora. You are a wonderful person, and I want to be with you." Obiora was surprised by his words. She felt a mix of emotions, hope, fear, and a bit of happiness. She hesitated, remembering the curse and her past heartbreaks, but Chidubem's sincerity touched her heart. Finally, Obiora said, "I like you too, Chidubem, but I have been through a lot. Are you sure you want to be with me?" Chidubem nodded with a smile. "I am sure, Obiora. Let's make a life together." And so, they became close. Chidubem treated Obiora with respect and care, and she found herself growing fond of him. They spent time together, and their bond deepened. It wasn't long before Chidubem proposed to Obiora. He wanted to make her his wife and share a happy life with her. With joy in her heart, Obiora accepted his proposal, and they began to plan their wedding, dreaming of a future together filled with love and happiness. For the first time in a long while, Obiora felt a true sense of hope. She believed that with Chidubem, she could finally find the peace and love she had been searching for. The village buzzed with excitement for the upcoming wedding, and Obiora felt a warm glow of happiness, hoping this would be the start of a beautiful new chapter in her life. The day of Obiora and Chidubem's wedding arrived, and the village of Duru was filled with excitement. The villagers gathered in the village square, which was decorated with colorful flowers and bright banners. They danced, sang, and celebrated, happy to see Obiora and Chidubem together. As Obiora and Chidubem stood under the warm sun, exchanging their vows, Obiora looked radiant in her beautiful dress, and Chidubem couldn't stop smiling. They promised to love and cherish each other, surrounded by the cheers and blessings of the villagers. It was a perfect day, filled with joy and love, and everyone felt the happiness in the air. As night fell, Obiora and Chidubem retired to their new home, ready to start their life together as husband and wife. Despite the challenges she had faced, Obiora finally felt at peace, confident that she had found the love she had been searching for.